Okay, as I said, my name's Ashley Fletcher. I'm the CMO and VP of People here at Athena. I've been at the organisation just coming up to 7 years now, and in search for, I reckon it's approaching 18 years. So ex-Googler, been working in search for a long time, seeing a lot of changes constantly. So nothing is surprising me in the industry, but again, it's moving at quite a fast pace. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to tune in today, whether you're watching live or on the recording. Fully appreciate how slammed everyone's agendas are, but as I say to my team, it's so important to continue to go out and learn and see what the industry is saying, see what peers are saying. My goal for this session, if there's just one thing from this set of slides that you could take back to your peer group or your boss, that would be a massive achievement. So again, trying to condense a lot of insights in the storytelling here. You'll have insights from the Adthena platform. You'll have some recommendations from other search peers in the industry that I speak to as well, and some of our partners. And again, efficiency redefined. We're looking at cost avoidance and easier growth with Google Ads. So all of this, I hope, is boxed up in a nice, easy to consume way as well. You'll notice we have a chat function on the webinar. Please throw some messages in there now. We've got a few people on. If you just want to say hello and where you're dialing in from, that will make me feel better that I'm not just talking to myself constantly for the next 27 minutes. But I'll make a start on the slides. So with that, for those that aren't aware of who Adthena are, we're in the market as leading search intelligence solution. So essentially, we lower costs, boost returns, so you guys can dominate your competitive landscape. That means for agencies that you're more successful, for the brands that you manage, and for brand owners that you're steering your campaigns in the right direction using search intelligence. How we do it, essentially, we would build you an AI-driven whole market view. The whole market view is our secret sauce. Essentially, it's different for every domain. We capture that data from Google Ads, and we provide you with competitive analysis, strategic insights, and of course, you have a team of experts here, search experts, that are helping you action those insights as well for action. So again, in today's market, if you're going out looking for a solution, you want that end product, that improvement on ROAS, improvement on ROI, and again, that's where we come in and help our enterprise brands. So that's a little bit about Adthena. Some of the goals for the session today. So you would have seen the webinar description go out. The first one, leveraging ChatGPT. Yeah, everyone's talking about it. It's actually coming off that massive ramp at the moment, but I just want to do a little bit of reflection on our year with ChatGPT and how it's integrated our workflows and day-to-day to hopefully give you some ideas there. The next one is Performance Max. Again, this continues to stay in the news. It's been in the search world now for coming up to a year, I believe. And I just want to highlight some of the pitfalls if you're looking to help with scaling and using this or testing it on a proportion of your campaign. Take a look at some of these learnings from Adthena and the wider search influencers that we work with as well. The last one, a little bit of a catch-all, but we will look into tracking brand expenditure. So brand is key at the moment. It's one piece you really don't want to rein back on and save budget. And then we'll touch on organic as well. So there is harmony between paid search and organic in the industry right now, which is great to see. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of fear in there with the ad hijacking that's still coming through in search ads. So if I was to categorize these three takeaways for you for the session today, I would say the first one is really about cost avoidance. It's making you more efficient with ChatGPT in your life. The second one would be Performance Max and growth. So again, we're all looking to do more with less. So embracing this new solution, but understanding what's under the hood there, I think is really important. And then the next one I would say would be kind of a combination of those really. You don't want to waste budget easily. You want to highlight the areas that you can pull back on that. If you are in an agency, again, you don't want to run the risk of lowering budgets for next year as we look at 2024 planning, but I think it does make agency partners look far better if you identify budget that can be moved into other growth areas as well. So the last one there I would say is certainly around cost avoidance and growth tactics as well. So those are my goals for the session. Before we start, a little bit of an analogy. Keen runner, but I want to just imagine the audience is back in January 2023. We've just come into the year. It feels like we've got some new trainers on. The year's going to be great. Everyone's pumped up with the new developments in generative AI. ChatGPT's sort of was in and around the news at that point as well. So everyone's very excited. But actually, when we set course for the year, it doesn't quite feel like what we expected. Okay, you've got a course that is pouring with rain, you've got headwinds left, right, and center, and you're trying to make headway through that. Now, I think the search industry as a whole is incredible at this. We adapt and find ways to drive performance through this change. And in some ways, it often goes against Google Ads. It often goes against the releases that are coming out. So what I find myself is when it gets as competitive and as hard as this, you actually spend more time in the top zone, the top performance level than you actually realize. So this discomfort actually turns into a bit of a benefit. And I think we all grow and get smarter out of that as well. So my main takeaway here is, I think if you are facing strong headwinds and the course is not like you planned, it isn't like you expected it to be, I think when we're pushed into the unknown, we tend to do quite well. So stay positive with that. And I think the pieces that are coming through here will give you some of that support and reassurance as well. So apologies, didn't buy the fully licensed image here, but you'll see the credits to the stock photography. I imagine some of the folks on this call now feel like they're at a bit of a crossroads, particularly if that road ahead you're looking at 2024 as well. But just looking at the year to date so far, from a personnel perspective, whether you're managing search campaigns, whether you're in agencies managing a portfolio of brands, everyone is under growth pressure. I'm under budget pressure. Everyone I speak to in my CMO network, similar sort of things. But we still have to grow. We still have to find a way. This year, more than others, I've sensed more of an efficiency pressure. So what I mean by that, in the SaaS world, we talk a lot about CAC ratio, or in the search world, probably ROAS. But I mean, dialing up the things that are super efficient at generating really healthy margins. That is at the forefront of everything, because it makes everything else like gross profit and year-on-year growth looks so much better. So there's less and less testing, but higher scrutiny around that as well. As human beings, I think we've been under massive pressure to adopt ChatGPT. When your board or your boss are asking questions about how it works, how do we leverage it, then again, we have to solve that. And then, of course, the human pressure coming in and cost of living, it hasn't got an awful lot easier for the vast majority of the world this year. So again, we're carrying all of that pressure as well. Flipping that to a search perspective, coming in from the left-hand side here at the crossroads, you've got Performance Max. Is it the thing that can really push up the scale to free me up to do more strategic insights, strategic planning and more growth planning like that, questions around it as well. Local landscape continues to change. I think more and more of the SERP results look local. So tapping into those nuances is really key. GA4, of course, rolled out in July. I think everyone's still getting to grips with that and finding the best way to see their dashboard or the way that they want to see their channels as well. I think search transparency is a continued problem. Where are the campaigns appearing? What about my trademarks? Is it appearing on any sites that it shouldn't? I think there's heavy scrutiny there. And then Google this year have reacted with the Transparency Center. So in March, they launched that tool. I'll go into it in a later slide as well. But again, I think they realize that there is a transparency issue going on here with the search community. And then, of course, right ahead, you've got 2024 and generative AI. So from the big Google releases this year, this is the new big thing coming in right now. So again, I think we're at a considerable crossroads, but hopefully there'll be some tips in here to move forward with confidence. This slide is by no means designed to show what a fantastic job we're doing with ChatGPT at Adthena. It's more to position the audience and how you can leverage this to make you more efficient. So I just wanted to give you some insight as to how ChatGPT 4 now has actually influenced Adthena this year. The first one, of course, it helps speed up the copywriting engine, content engine, and production speed has actually really increased with this. And then bringing costs down as well. So I think we have this as an asset today, but take a look. The latest reports that we put out there, again, the production of these is considerably sped up. The next one, I think this is quite a common use case as I'm seeing across kind of the customer service sector as well, not just search, but we've created an in-app chatbot. So again, all of our content has been fed to this. So it understands our products, the mechanics, the calculations, the competitor insights, our own competitive landscape, and again, giving really solid questions back to our audience. Again, this is saving time on our customer support area, the speed in which it's coming back, and then of course the NPS that we're managing from our customer network is going up and up. To clarify here, we built two of them. We've got one in-app, and then we have one internal for our team. So internal knowledge only, and then obviously customer-facing as well with the chatbot. The last one on a search perspective, so Adthena would index the Google search results page more than any other solution out in the market. So with one advertiser, you could be looking at something like 8,000 ad copy within one given week, not just your own, but your whole competitive landscape. When you overlay ChatGPT with this to understand nuances, edge cases, writing the best ad copy, it really is fantastic. And again, we're finding ways of doing this with or displaying the data with Looker connectors and data outside of the application. But essentially, if you feed it what the market is doing at the moment, you can understand customer sentiment really, really well and offers scope and things like that. So those are three areas for ChatGPT. I hope that was interesting for folks, but again, it should pique some interest as to how you could use that internally. So generative AI, it's changing quite a lot in the search landscape, and we saw, we're seeing a lot of live tests and experiments happening at the moment. I say more so in the US, some in the UK. I'm just going to walk through some of the examples now. So I actually pulled this from the iQuantity's latest performance marketing report. I think it touches on how the copy on a relatively quick and easy search on what is ROI, essentially like a financial advisor, if you like, here in the UK or Europe, and how complex the SERP is now becoming. What's interesting to see here is the heavy citation across all of their resources. If you think about the knowledge graph and trusted sources there, I think search advertisers will really want to understand how we get into that space, how your piece of content can be leveraged there. The other observation here is obviously there are multiple places to click here, but the blue ones continue, or the blue buttons continue the search journey in the SERP. So user journeys are going to become longer. I think the search queries are going to be longer as well. And of course, the variation of this is vast at the moment. I think Google themselves admitted, continuing to learn on this and understanding how useful this is to the audiences and if they are finding the results quick enough. Again, because if they're not getting to the destination or getting the answer, then I should imagine there's going to be a lot of downvotes on that. The other examples I'm going to show you now are from, we ran these from London. So again, with men's clothes, the influence of Google Shopping is so prominent on the search results page. Actually, it's pushed an awful lot of content down the page. So slightly concerning from an organic perspective, but again, in this example that we found here, the row of ads is quite dominating, if that makes sense. So I think the priority on Google Shopping and bringing that through is, or understanding the engagement here is really quite key. The next one, we've noticed a lot more local listings being pulled through in the generative AI examples that we're seeing. So again, really big push last year with local ads, or the year before with the pandemic and how markets are changing. That doesn't seem to be letting up at the moment. So again, matching user queries to where they are, to their local provider, service, pickup station, whatever it might be, a lot of these results are coming through. Interesting here is the maps placements and the auction which is taking part here, again, is a blended result with the text search ads as well. And then the last one, I think this is where we'll probably feel the biggest impact, is on the very top of funnel. Again, this is making a DIY job, if you like, and making, I think it was an invitation at home. Again, it's showing a lot of information here at the very top of the funnel. The journey of the user is at the very early stages of doing this. And I think if you were to understand, what is third-party insurance, what is breakdown cover, I think you're going to get a similar kind of experience coming through, and less ads in this instance if the query is very, very top of funnel. So with that, let's just quickly go to those that are on the call. I just want to understand from you, just quickly, what sort of search data would you want to see from those search results? So imagine you are running those campaigns. What sort of data would you want to see in your Google Ads account to understand the influence of generative AI on your performance? You've got a few people on there, so let's let that run. Please put your comments into chat if that's okay, and I'll come back shortly. Okay, so let's try look at Performance Max now. So this is through the lens of growth. We want to leverage this campaign to improve our time efficiency, to look at other areas, to let Google go hands-on with your campaigns, to free more of your time up, to look at other initiatives. To remind everyone, PMax has been live for a year now, so you've got the 6 channels there. So to be clear, you've got search, display, discover, which I'm actually using a lot on, and see some very good ads in there as well, maps, Gmail, and YouTube. So again, it's Google's walled garden, if you like. It's all of their campaigns running your search and everything else, and your digital campaigns there. As I said, it's been running for a year. I think the general consensus is advertisers and agencies want to know what is happening in the with these campaigns. I think there's a lack of blindness and not really knowing where performance is going and what it is doing. With that trusty pitchfork graphic here, this is the search community. We're desperate to find more insight, more transparency about what is happening with Performance Max. From an adoption perspective, and again, this is just one resource here that we've pulled, and it echoes what we're seeing in our customer base as well. 1/3 of this particular agency is running Performance Max. Okay, so 1/3. I think similar numbers when we queried our enterprise accounts running Performance Max. The other key takeaway is here, large advertisers continue to stick and rely on the standard shopping optimization and levers there. Okay, so the general consensus is Performance Max has fewer controls and less targeting compared to standard shopping, and I think it's what we're all used to. So again, just one reference here, and I'll share the slides and the link to this as well. I think this is important because the audience will probably want to push more control with this, and I'm going to give you some ideas to do that. Google are actually trying to make it more transparent. Since this launch, I'm just picking out 3 launches here, they've given back control to advertisers to actually access account asset level reporting. So these are the new form of ad groups, if you like. You couldn't see that in version 1. You now have that linked in here. Brand was merged in all performance. There's now clear segues with that to put brand aside and put restrictions in to keep your brand in its own campaigns and let the Performance Max run on the generics or whatever products you have. And of course, negatives as well. This is a key optimizer for this campaign. easier ways to throw that into campaigns. Now, again, when it launched, it was at account level. Now you can come in and add those much easier. So again, we're getting a little bit more transparency. So considerations here, if you are looking at this for the first time, you have to split brand and product. Okay, this is an initiative that you have to get alignment here. Your brand KPIs are going to be totally different to any other KPIs that you put across these asset groups. And you must, and this is a recommendation, we work with a lot of retailers here, high-end retailers, asset groups have got to be aligned to the SKU. Don't group, don't muddy those waters, put in the time. As you can see all the arrows here of the new assets that need to be created now, it's not just a search manager that has to pull these together. It is a village, essentially. But it's really important that all your asset groups align to a particular SKU. If you're trying to knock lots over in one overall theme, like skinny jeans, then it may not work. Try and focus on your core product lines and do that really well. The second piece is to remarket to the right asset groups as well. If you spent the money getting them coming in on Nike Air Force One, do not for 1 minute retarget them with a generic Nike ad that puts them into the top sellers or the new releases. Okay, keep that user journey as consistent as possible, particularly on a product that is your best seller. You know, those are the things that you should really push the user journey. As I said, I'm a big fan of the discovery ads that are on my daily feed at the moment. I think you should try and launch those for new product lines, so you give that new product the best possible chance in the market. And then run scripts. Okay, so this is the piece that's happening in the market at the moment. And massive kudos to Mike Rhodes. The link here you can get when we share out the slides as well, but I think this is doing the rounds on LinkedIn nicely. Essentially, Mike has found a way to run this script, get a report to see the channel variance. The big point here and the main thing that I'd like the audience to take away is if you are doing target ROAS and you all of a sudden increase by 40%, by his research and what we're starting to see with our testing, with our data mirroring this, is that your Google, YouTube, for example, impressions will spike one day. They'll go huge, and then they'll go down on search. Okay, so the trick is here is to keep all your optimal channels running at the right pace. At the moment, the variations when you're doing target ROAS look really aggressive. The other key piece here to take away from this is if you segment and get the search query, you won't have cost data. So again, that's an area of value where we're overlaying our search intelligence to actually show what you're appearing on, because we use BigQuery, and then extrapolate a cost that way as well. So again, even with this report, you won't be able to see the costs coming through by channel, by search query. I'd like to just switching gears quickly here from shopping to text ads, because I stumbled across a great benchmark which shows ad groups are still alive, keywords are still alive, our favorite match types are still alive. Okay, so it's not all about PMAX. But again, massive shout out to Rob Warner here. He's ran a sample of 4,000 ad accounts, okay, that are all regularly running search spend, and he segmented the amount of keywords by match type per ad group. Now, I think this is really useful because some of the old habits are not changing. We're still keeping broad only in particular ad groups, brand only in others, and there's very little blending of all of these ad groups to muddy those waters. So great piece of benchmarking here. I think it gives us more control, visibility on what works. And the main takeaways here is, you know, of this analysis that Rob ran, 76% had of ad groups in that 4,000 had 10 keywords or fewer, which is fantastic. Always want to drill into what's performing well and cut the wastage. And again, a small amount there had more than 50. And I think that's the lower funnel perhaps, or longer tail search queries that aren't generating quite as much. And again, I think the search landscape are doing more with specific match types as well, and not blending those all in one ad group. So again, fantastic benchmark, and thank you for Rob for that. Just quickly on brand. So brand efficiency, there's savings to be had on your doorstep, literally. If you could imagine, you could turn off your paid brand ads when no one appears, and you pick up on organic. That is saving you lots of money. With Brand Activator at Athena, we're doing exactly that. Here's a live screenshot from last 30 days from one advertiser here. Now we're now able to extrapolate where organic picks up the slack here, and the savings accordingly from not spending on Google Ads. Now, the reactiveness of this is key. We're in the SERP, we're looking at the SERP at a high frequency and protecting your brand at the same time as well. So again, circle back on this and understand more about Brand Activator. We've actually got a walkthrough that we'll provide after the call as well. The next piece on brand, because near exact, you never really understand what your brand terms are triggering on. We're pulling data from Google BigQuery. What that means is that we can identify our search query report as far more accurate. Now we're doing some split testing against standard search query reports in the interface, but what we're finding here is actually there's more transparency sooner. You're getting to this data the next day, and understanding really where your brand ads are appearing. So again, here with John Lewis Towels, you can see the close variance that's also appeared on. So those are savings you've actually made as well. So again, so that's Brand Activator. The other piece that's happening this year, there is harmony between SEO and paid search and SEM. They're getting on well. You can see lots of technology and lots of solution in the market partnering up at the moment. We're no different. We've partnered with Conductor, and here is a report identifying the top terms. I think it's every 48 hours every week that this report would be updated, but showing batches of search terms where we are suggesting that you should be lowering paid search spend and increasing your investment in organic. Again, this brings teams together, it brings action together. You see content being produced, landing pages being produced, so really good output. If you're investing in multiple tools across paid and organic, please try and bring these together. This is one example here. Try and merge that data and understand how your teams can action that far quicker than ever before. The last point, I'm doing quite close on time here now, so affiliates, anyone on the call that has an affiliate network, you could be overpaying. Now, as I said at the top of the webinar, Google this year in March released the Ads Transparency Center. You can find, go and search for it now, you can find all of the ads and competitor ads that are appearing on your brand term. Now, what that doesn't do is identify an ad that is actually an ad hijacker. So an example here that you can on screen actually has multiple redirects, and you wouldn't get this from the Ad Transparency Center. So we're finding many cases of this, and the main pitfall is do not overpay affiliates or your networks, and really understand which affiliates are really kind of taking advantage of your brand position in search. The last piece I've got for you today is how much could you save on your brand spend. So we actually have a Brand Activator trial that we can trial with the audience. We're going to send out this link to everyone. If you fill in your details, we can run a test and estimate how much we can save with Adthena Brand Activator running on your domain. And again, we've recently been recognized for that in the industry as well. I think that takes me right to time. Apologies to him, got to Q&A, but I can follow up with the audience after. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling in.